Alright, here we go. I really don't like the cancel culture. And I know people are going to attack me saying why. Here's my 2 cents on the cancel culture. I really think the cancel culture affects is a bullshit reason to cancel someone for saying some stuff that they used to say when they were young and dumb. Don't get me wrong, the cancel culture did help some people who did bad shit like, I don't know, Yandere Dev or Lovely Peaches, even though Lovely Peaches still hasn't been canceled yet. You know what I mean? Because she hasn't been canceled because she did some really fucked up shit that I don't want to say, but I'll put the link in the description about her. If I will tell about my 2 cents on my 2 cents is that we shouldn't cancel someone for saying some shit that they said in the past. I understand if they said something, but the problem is the cancel culture affects everyone who said some shit in the past. Maybe they said it like 2 to 3, 7 or 8 years ago, maybe 10 or 11 years ago, when the internet was fairly edgy at the time. Yes, I understand if they did some edgy jokes a long time ago, but that was at the time the internet was fairly a new place where the internet was very edgy. Like, you could say any word and then people wouldn't care. You know what I mean? They wouldn't care if you said any edgy jokes, because that joke is funny at the time of the internet. Like, if you put like this type of meme on there, they would have been confused as to why that internet joke. But thinking of it now, if you say any edgy jokes nowadays, you said it even if you said it like, or say something like, unless you had a mental mindset that you does have like, as a kid, I remember doing a really edgy shit when I was like young, and I regret my edgy shit. Everyone makes mistakes unless you're a pedophile. Then that's the reason to cancel you. If you say something like, I understand if someone says some pedophilic shit like, oh, if they said that as a joke. If they said this as a joke, I understand. I understand if they said it, if some people said, I don't know, if they said some racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic jokes in the past, and that doesn't define who they are. But let me tell you an example. I'm talking about on Twitter. If you do something shitty as, say, any joke you said back in 2011, 2012, when you were on Twitter, they would people would someone would screenshot it or archive it just in case, because they want to use that to cancel you. Yes, canceling people for a joke they said many years ago, and they don't have that mentality. You know what I mean? Like, anyone will say anything. How I know? I remember saying a lot of. How I know this? Because there's been a lot of YouTubers that I know some YouTubers like Lovely Lauren and Kittydog that got affected by the cancel culture. For example, Kittydog was somebody on Twitter made Kittydog, and I know this is somewhat old news, but this has an example because how the cancel culture can just affect anyone. Kittydog was affected because she said some joke. She was accused of being racist, sexist, homophobic, pedophilic, even though she was like a kid at the time. Pedophilic, transphobic, and being other stuff and bestiality stuff. When I think of that, I think, she's just, at first I didn't want to jump to conclusion yet, but then someone found out that she, but until somebody had made a video, no, until it was no, not the video. I think she, luckily Kittydog had to say something before she before something bad happened to her, before it got really violent. Some people were supporting her, but some people were still thinking, oh, she's guilty of that shit. I know they're gender fluid, but I'll still call them she, her, or him, maybe they. But they didn't know what they were doing back then, you know? They were a kid because they were groomed to doing that shit. She said that she was groomed to doing that shit, which I understand why. Because when you do stuff like that, you don't know what you're doing when you're young and dumb. Unless you're saying some stuff that you shouldn't be saying, like, I don't know, you're gonna kill someone or something, or stab someone in the back, which is not okay in my honest opinion. But that's beside the point. She was a kid back then. She didn't know better, and you know, she only likes those type of the pedophile she only likes. Yes, she was also accused of pedophilia. Also, is the one that tries to get help. She tries to get help for something, you know? She tries to get the help she needs. She already got therapy for that. And people are, and I don't know, this girl said that she had the hit, you know, and the example, and Lovely Lauren is an example. Lovely Lauren said some stuff. She didn't agree with, she was making a video on how she feel towards the community. I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter community. They have been criticized for doing rioting and looting and shit, which is pretty much true. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I really don't give a shit. So I somewhat don't give a shit, but I somewhat do. Sometimes I really feel like they really think, oh, all cops are bad people. If you think cops are bad people, then you are the equivalent of that's the equivalent of saying all Mexicans are this, or all Muslims are terrorists because of ISIS, or all Christians are homophobic and other shit because of Western Baptist Church or the KKKs. Yes, I believe that there's no such thing as bad police. But I know there's such thing as a bad police, but there's such thing as bad people. There are going to be bad people in many ways, shape, or form. You can't just always defund police. If you defund police, bad shit can happen. Like, there's going to be lawsuits, people dying and stuff. Oh my God. And people, and you can lose a loved one. But you have to realize there's going to be bad people in the world. It's been like that since the dawn of man. Bad people have been around. Even before the dawn of man. Heck, bad people are the reason why. Yeah, but I'm going off topic. She made this art. I will put in the link in the description about that art. But she was accused of being racist and criticizing them, and Twitter decided to try to get her involved in some cancel culture. She admit from her mistakes, but Twitter thinks otherwise, that she didn't admit from her mistake. She thinks, but then someone threatened to dox her. The real reason why she left Twitter is because someone threatened to dox Lovely Lauren, which is very wrong. You threaten to dox her life, you know. That's why people don't like Twitter. Twitter's just full of toxic people who think, oh, I'm going to cancel this girl for something they said in the past. Yeah, because they were accused of a lot of things, like being transphobic. homophobic, racist, sexist, and even though that transphobic picture, that transphobic comic where someone said, "I want you to wax my private part," was actually replying to Jessica Yanni. You know Jessica Yanni, that trans activist. And I'm talking, and you know if you know who I'm referring to, and if she's the example, I'm gonna call him by Jonathan Yanni because he don't deserve to be a trans person. I don't believe one bit that he's trans. I believe he's just saying that so he can get some clout. He's really making the trans people look like fools and clowns. And I'm not joking. He's really making the trans people look like idiots and clowns. I understand if they did some shit, but the problem is, I'm gonna say this: if they did some shit in the past and they want to, and if they admit from their mistake, that's their mistake. They did a lot of dumb shit in the past. I remember doing some dumb shit in my past, and I remember someone made a video on my stuff I did in the past because they looked up my name, my old username. Yeah, it was this girl. I used to be called Stray the Hedgehog 328, but I didn't like that name because the character I used was a character that I remember using a long time ago. I stopped using her after realizing I haven't had in touch with her for a while. She's just boring. I thought she was just boring as shit. I mean I still use her for occasions, but not a while. I really feel like the cancel and they almost got the cancel culture involved. Like they dig about my old art, my old ass art. Some of them where I use bases. Why do I use bases? Is because I really felt like my art wasn't good and I didn't have like a scanner or a printer. A scanner, they told me I could take a picture on my phone, but I felt like my phone wasn't good because the phone, think about it, the phone, I had like an Android at the time. I mean, I could have done that, but I was like young and dumb and didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? I use bases because I don't want to affect because I don't want people calling my art, because even if I did draw, they would still call my art shitty. I'm not joking. To the point I thought I could just stop drawing for a while. I stopped drawing for a while because of those people, because they kept saying shit about my art, and I really didn't like that as a kid. Because, you know, think about it. When you imagine you cook some food, and I know I'm going off topic, but imagine this. But I feel like the cancel culture don't deserve to be. I feel like the cancel culture should be abolished, because it's hurting people who did some shit years ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, when they were like young and naive at the time and didn't know what they were doing back then. So yeah, I feel like the cancel culture should be either abolished or no. I think it should be abolished, but it should be applied to some people, like people who does like shitty things, like say the N-word. If they say the N-word as a joke, I mean, as in if they say the N-word in a racist term, or say a lot of dumb shit. I understand the cancel culture is just affecting everyone. Even there was this one famous artist named Vizzy who was canceled for saying some stuff she did in the past, and someone had to correct some Vizzy corrected herself. Well, some people corrected Vizzy and the person who tried to cancel her. Which I believe if you can't, that's the problem with the cancel culture. They will try to find famous people what they did. And if they said some shit like, I don't know, dumb, like imagine if it was, I don't know, imagine if let's just say, I don't know, like the creator of Care Bears. Yes, Ellen I don't know her last name, but that's just her first name. She made a joke on this is an example, made a joke about, I don't know, Milo said a joke about bronies and why they should die and shit. But she didn't say this is just an example. And said, hey, I feel like bronies should die and stuff. Do you know, and she said this like, I don't know, in 2010, 2011-ish. I don't know, she don't have any social media. Her only her social media is only the only social media she has is, but imagine it was like a fake, or sometimes they'll alternate, because sometimes, and think about it, sometimes they'll alternate screenshots, say like, I don't know, they'll say, I don't know, dumb shit. They'll alternate, some people can sometimes alternate screenshots, thinking, oh, that person did say that, even though they can alternate screenshots, or like by Photoshop or Element Expert. I know because the internet, I've been on the internet way longer to see Element Expert and stuff, to be on the internet. You know what I mean? So I feel like the cancel culture should die off. Either die off or get remade by canceling people like people who did some, like if you're like Yandere Dev and still hasn't changed and shit, don't be surprised, you know? And I know how people feel that the cancel culture should, like, we should cancel some people for saying some shit in the past. No. You should, like, they have to improve as a person and admit that they make a mistake. They admit from their mistake, saying, hey, I made a mistake, I fucked up. It was back in when I was young and dumb. Being young and dumb, you don't know what you're doing. You want to get high off. You want to get high, pop balloons with guns, and getting high off helium. And you see what I mean. Kids, they're young. When you're young, and I know people are gonna say in the comments, but I wasn't like that. I bet you was. I bet you was like very young and didn't say and said some shit that you regret saying. And I know how that feels. Sometimes people say a lot of dumb shit because they say that's dumb shit because they know and they don't want to admit from their mistakes. So I feel like the cancel culture should be fucking abolished. But sometimes applied to people that shouldn't do this shit. Just stop canceling people for saying like stuff they said in the past. If they said, I don't know, if they said, like if they were like a young kid and you're calling them, oh, they're young racist. You're thinking, oh, people that are racist are young. No. Racism can be taught as a kid. Can be taught. Racism isn't taught. It's made by ignorance. How I know? I was told that I learned that sometimes racism can be learned by being ignorant. Yeah, they could be taught. You could be taught when you're racist and stuff. Yeah. You could be racist because you were learned that as a child. because your parents were very racist back then. But either way, but if you start realizing that your parents are racist as well, but realize that your parents are racist as well. Racist as well. Racist people, yes, people are gonna do some shit online because, and if they learn as a person, then they just have to grow as a person. If they don't want to learn as a person, then don't waste your breath on them. Don't waste your breath on them. I realized the hard way because there was a certain person that I wasted my breath on. I realized people are gonna start. She was the example of why YouTubers. You know what I mean? She's the reason why I can't redeem. Some people can't be redeemable. There are going to be people that can't be redeemable. Some can be redeemable, some can't. I learned it the hard way. That there are people that are irredeemable. You have to learn, yes. You're going to get those irredeemable people. For example, Yandere Dev. He's irredeemable for suiciding baiting. Damn. Sorry. Suicide baiting. And doing a lot of shit that I considered fucked up now. I considered that, like, not bringing the rivals. People are saying, I know people are saying, it's the bullying excuse. Bullying or not, bullying is an excuse to not do. Scott Compton got criticized for his game. He was bullied before because of his game, but he learned to take it. You know what I mean? Criticism is trying to help you improve because, you know what I mean? But the cancel culture should be evolved towards him because he did a lot of things and also false copyright striking people, like the Game Sleuth, for example. He really should be canceled for stuff he said. I mean, he's forcing people to he's also false DMC cleaning people's stuff, which is wrong. And the Game Sleuth apologized to him, but he talked back. I heard he talked behind Game Sleuth's back and backstabbed him. Talked behind by saying, this guy I'm just forcing him to apologize by pointing him by force because he's one of those type of people. I feel like Yandere Dev, it proves Yandere Dev's true nature. He's manipulative. I'm wondering, why does he still have fans, to be honest? I feel like the real reason why he has fans is simple. Because his fans are a bunch of kids who like to look up edgy games, who are pretty much edgelords, but then when they find out about, you know what I mean, Yandere Simulator, they leave and go to other games that can apply to them. I feel like if I play Yandere Simulator now, it's nothing changed at all. And I know he's gonna say something changed. Nothing changed at all. He still has those placeholders, those stolen assets, some of the stolen assets in the game and stuff. I heard the rabbit hole for Alex Mahan is really deeper. It's so deep. It's ridiculous. I really feel like Ella, there should be that series. I remember the person who makes Down the Rabbit Hole should make a video on Alex. And I know Alex may not like it, but that's the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. I really like to know why. I really like to know why the cancel culture affects everyone who says dumb shit in the past. Like, let that person grow as a person. As a person, let them grow as long as they're not doing zoophilia, pedophilia, necrophilia shit. Unless they're doing it as a joke, I can understand. You know what I mean? I also like to want to know why the cancel culture did not affect. But if you're gonna cancel, they cancel Shane Dawson for stuff he said he didn't do. He joked about, like, I can't. Some stuff is reasonable and he can't be forgiven, but at the same time he jokes. There are a lot of people who joke about. I see a lot of people, but then there's another YouTuber. I can't remember her, but she had to take a break from the internet because of because of a joke she said in the past. She said in the past, and really admit. Now, I understand if there are dumb people on the internet, that the internet is going to be full of dumbass people. It's full of dumbass people. Like, you're going to get those. And I know people are going to say the internet, but and I know people are going to say, yes, I understand why it was like that as a kid. I understand, because I understand you wasn't like that. Some people weren't like that, but there were people, but we all have our skeletons in the closet. How I know? I have my skeletons in the closet. I have a lot of bad stuff I made in the past. I realized I got banned from my old account, my old DA account, because I rather not say it, but I was doing some stuff that I should have been doing, and I learned not to do that unless we do it. You know what I mean? And please, if you were a friend of mine's, if you were a fan, if you were once that person that didn't know about me, please don't try to attack me or nothing. I actually like how it's ironic that the cancel culture I really don't like how the cancel culture affects everyone and everything. You know what I mean? I feel like people who don't, if you grow as a person, you're making sense. You make sense that you like for real. I have been thinking about, I've been thinking about making this video because I just want to put my 2 cents. Yes, my 2 cents about the cancel culture. How the cancel culture should not be applied to anyone, but unless they did a lot of dumb, unless they're still doing this shit and really doing it, then they should. Unless they're still doing it still being like that as a person, or unless it's a joke, unless they're doing it, they still haven't improved as a person. then you could just, but you could just die. You know what I mean? You could just, you know what I mean? Like, I remember there was this video called Canceled Crab. It was a video that was made by Uncle Al, who made how the cancel culture, how it is, and how the cancel culture is in a nutshell. You know what I mean? I mean that's what I mean. Really, the video was about how Crab said a joke about how he said squids are lazy and smelly. And he did have a point. He can't always tweet what he said in the past. He can't always control what he say in the past. Then you're no better and he has a point, and then Squid has a point that you are no better than this, then you're no better than this. You're no better than this, and then they send me tweets. It's a parody, keep in mind. A parody. You know what I mean? A parody. Yeah, yeah. You know, I really mean that. A parody. It was a parody. Like, I heard Squidward had to tell these people, yes, he has a right about the cancel culture. That the cancel culture should not attack a person. You are no better than that person. When they said those tweets back in the day, it was an old tweet that they said back in the day, that they can grow as a person. Like, let the person grow unless they're a pedophile. Then they could just, I don't know, then they could just be and should just die. And it's true. Pedophilia, unless you're a pedophile and still, or unless your jokes are like joking about pedophiles and how they should, you know what I mean? Like, I know what people should be. Like, imagine saying an old tweet. Imagine someone digging up, like, for example, because Plankton was trying to dig up something he said in the past, saying squids are lazy and smelly, which I believe that's not entirely true, but it's true about how the cancel culture works. That the cancel culture will affect anybody for saying really mean, really dumb shit. Really dumb shit. Really effective shit. Really some shit like, I don't know. You could say, I hate, like, if you said in 2014, if you said, I don't know, if you said the N-word back in, I don't know, 2015, then that's how the cancel culture works. Then the cancel culture is 2014, 2015, maybe 2016, when the internet was the internet at the time was fairly edgy back in 2011 through 2016, maybe 17, maybe 18, maybe 2018, when it happened. I really hate how the cancel culture can just affect those. Imagine saying jokes about certain things and you didn't mean that joke. You didn't mean to say that joke. You were just like, I don't know, at the time, stupid and young, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean that people nowadays need to learn that people have to stop canceling somebody for saying, if we cancel someone, if we witch hunt, if we cancel somebody for saying, I don't know, a mean tweet, then let's cancel somebody who was rude in the past. Like, that's like, if I feel like it's like the Salem, like, imagine for Salem witch trials. If this is like a Salem witch trial, I remember the Crucible talked about how we, like, if we did some shit, like the Crucible did have a point about how people. I remember when I watched this, how we give hate towards how we, how we can just cancel. Well, I really would feel like it feels like a like I feel like it's like the Salem witch trials. If someone said a joke said a joke, they would be burned or canceled. I really want to make a video. I really want to make a short video titled Salem, if Salem witch trials happened today. And I know I might sound boomerish, but yeah. The cancel culture could just fuck people up, and not only fuck up their life, but it fuck up their career as also. People will, because nowadays you got brands that won't trust a certain person because that person said a joke in the past, and they just and they just try to you know what I mean, they just try to improve as a person. I know I'm just recording this and no one can hear me, and I'm trying to be quiet as I can because my niece is sleeping and stuff, and I don't want to wake her up. And I know I'm in the basement where I can do whatever I want in the basement. But I can't. But as a person, I want to say this: stop canceling people for what they said in the fucking past, because it's stupid. It's wrong. It's stupid. It's wrong. It hurts people. It hurts people for saying. It hurts not only, and brands can't always be with the person. They'll look at that person. They'll have to look up their stuff, because you made brands question it, should they be with that person. And if that person if they find out that person what that person did before, like for example, I remember when the fight between H3 and Keemstar happened. I was on there were people who were on Keemstar's side, some people who were on H3 side. There were people who were on neither side because they were both stupid as hell, and I was one of them. I feel like Keemstar and H3 were both in the wrong. They should have just Keemstar, because there were some jokes that Keemstar did in the past, and H3 brought it up because he was trying to get his brand. You know what I mean? That's how people should not be fucking. Shouldn't be how they should be. It's not how brands. I actually like making my favorite care. I always wanted to make a very funny video on. You know, I'm doing this my first time recording because my sister has a mic and I can't hear nothing at all. You know, I just can't hear nothing on this thing because I don't want to because you know my niece is asleep and I don't want to wake her up. And if I wake her up, she's gonna get mad and stuff. I know this is a filler. I know I should end this video, but I want to do this one more time because this is full of filler. I want to make this more filler. I want to do this for filler reasons because I was on like H3 should have just like if they cancel H3 should have just been canceled too because he said some shit. And if I don't know if this feud is either done or still ongoing. Let me know in the comments and I will put the stuff and I'll put the videos about in the description. I'll try to. I don't know if my video will be put on this site, but I highly doubt because I'm using Steam Lab and stuff for that. I'm trying to be more filler because I'm trying to do something and stuff, and I just hope the filler will be more. You know, when I watched Al's video on how Squidward, on how cancel crab affect how this video, how it represents the cancel culture as a whole, the cancel culture as a whole, how the cancel culture can affect everyone for saying a joke they said as a kid. You know what I mean? I will. Oh, nuts. You know what I mean? I really do hope to God that if someone tried to cancel me for saying, like one time someone tried to cancel me because of my boyfriend, because my boyfriend is 1 year older than me, 1 year older, 1 year younger than me, because I told them, hey, because they said that my art is a child's drawing. I was like, and they called my boyfriend a pedophile, and I said, how is that pedophilia when that's like saying that doesn't make absolutely no sense, people. Does that make sense? No, that doesn't make absolutely no sense. That makes no sense when that's like saying so people who draw like children are considered pedophiles. It's a pedophilia. That's like saying if Marxism, you know. I also drew Saint Sona in a fighting pose because reason number one, because I'm trying to get this because I'm trying to get her Elna, because I have nothing to do. I have nothing productive in my life to fill my space. I actually feel like my friend Kim 111 should make her own web series. Should make a web series out of her based off all the characters. Like, she should make her own web series. I'm not saying, but I feel like she should. I'm not saying if she doesn't want to, I'm not forcing her, because I feel like she should. Because web series, like, Like, she makes so many characters. It's like a ridiculous amount of characters that she has so many used characters. She should make her own web series. She should either make a web comic, web series, web series out of her. You know what I mean? I like it, but she should make a web series. I'm not joking. Kim should make her own web series. She should make a web series or a cartoon series. Do you ever feel like you should make your own? You know, I haven't. I want to make a web series out of my. I made a web comic called Kittydog, but it's on hold for a bit. I've been thinking about remaking it into a magical girl, like where my character becomes a magical girl. She becomes this magical girl. She becomes this magical girl by those magical gloves that comes from a meteor. She gets powers similar to a Saiyan. She comes from an alien planet where Scene is actually in the, where Scene is still a fashion statement. You know, I mean, Scene is like a fashion statement. Scene is coming back. It's coming back in 2000 and I feel I like that. Scene. I made it like almost like one of those web comics, like you see those black and white anime. You see, I remember there was this one anime called, I don't want to sound Dog. It was a half human, half dog, which awkwardly enough, it might be coming into a cartoon of its. At first, I thought it was the web comic got put on Webtoon. It was put on Webtoons, but it got taken down because of that. But he decided to put it on another Webtoon. But I believe the real reason why is because they thought it could be an ad. Because One Punch Man, maybe because the webcomic was a little too off. I don't understand webcomics. Like, so I actually do like it. I know it's full of this is gonna be not, and I know people are going to say, why you put this as filler. It's simple, really. I'm bored. I want to talk about my opinions and stuff, and I like to say this. I got to the point, so I hope the cancel culture just goes away, and I'll see ya. Peace.